A legacy abandoned. Why African leaders have failed to continue Gaddafi's freedom course. The 2011 NATO-led intervention in Libya, culminating in the brutal killing of Muammar Gaddafi, remains one of the most defining and controversial episodes in modern African history. Several international figures have since stepped forward, offering revealing insights into the true motivations behind the West's actions, insights that peel back the veil of humanitarian intervention and expose a deeper geopolitical agenda aimed at preserving Western economic dominance. In this critique, we revisit the testimonies of prominent Western voices who have dared to speak truth to power and examine why, despite these revelations, African leaders have failed to carry forward Gaddafi's bold vision for the continent. The hidden motives behind Gaddafi's elimination. Tony Blair, the then British Prime Minister, played an indirect yet revealing role in the drama. Reports indicate that Blair contacted Gaddafi during the early stages of the Libyan uprising, urging him to step down and seek refuge elsewhere. Blair was not acting on personal concern, but on behalf of international entities keen to see Gaddafi removed. Gaddafi refused, firm in his distrust of Western motives, but it was merely the politics of our international community and the silence of Gaddafi's fellow African leaders that sealed his fate. Beneath the surface lay a far more calculated motive, one rooted in the protection of global financial interests and the suppression of any challenge to Western economic dominance. Gaddafi's bold push for a gold-backed African currency and his efforts to liberate the continent from the grip of institutions like the IMF and World Bank posed a direct threat to the established global order. It was this audacity, not just his politics, that made him a marked man. Two influential Western thinkers, Ellen Brown and Robert Parry, dug deeper into the economic and strategic underpinnings of the decision to delete Gaddafi. Ellen Brown, a respected American public banking advocate, exposed the West's fear of Gaddafi's plan to launch a gold-backed African currency. Such a move, she argued, would have posed a direct threat to the US dollar, the IMF, and the entire global financial system that keeps African nations economically tethered to Western control. Robert Parry, an investigative journalist known for unearthing uncomfortable truths, cited internal Western communications revealing that oil access and the suppression of Gaddafi's financial independence initiatives, not humanitarian concerns, were the primary motivators. These discussions notably excluded the Libyan people, focusing instead on preserving Western leverage over Africa's economic future. Why African leaders have not continued the course. Given the clarity of these revelations, one would expect a renewed African determination to revive Gaddafi's mission. But over a decade later, no African leader has risen to fill that void. Why? 1. The fear factor. Gaddafi's fate sent a chilling message to any African leader who might dare to dream of economic independence or Pan-African unity. The message was clear: defiance comes with a price. The manner of his death, public, humiliating and violent, was not just an execution, but a symbolic warning to others. 2. Western economic grip. As Brown and Parry both emphasize, the West's hold on Africa is rooted in financial mechanisms. Today's leaders operate within systems designed and controlled by Western financial institutions. Efforts to break free, such as ditching the dollar or creating independent monetary systems, require a level of economic courage and vision that most current leaders lack or are unwilling to express publicly. 3. Leadership without a liberation agenda. Many of Africa's current leaders prioritize regime security and international approval over revolutionary change. Gaddafi, for all his flaws, placed Africa at the center of his foreign policy. Today, that kind of ideological commitment to African liberation is rare. What we see instead are politicians seeking development within Western-defined frameworks, not transformative agendas. 4. Division. Within the continent. Gaddafi's Pan-African ideals required unity, something Africa continues to struggle with. Internal conflicts, ethnic rivalries, and competing national interests keep the continent fragmented. A united economic or military front capable of resisting Western pressure remains a distant dream. The death of a vision or a call to wake up. The killing of Muammar Gaddafi was not just the fall of a regime, it was the suppression of a movement. As Ellen Brown and Robert Parry have courageously shown, his vision for a financially independent and politically united Africa was not only real, it was dangerous to the status quo. Yet, more than a decade later, the silence from Africa's leadership is deafening. If African leaders continue to ignore the lessons of Gaddafi's fall and the warnings from those in the West who have exposed the truth, then the dream of an emancipated Africa will remain just a dream. Gaddafi's vision was not perfect, but it was bold. It deserves not silence, but resurrection. Diaspoint values your perspective and encourages you to share your thoughts on the topics we present. Feel free to comment and share with your network to spark broader discussions.